Alright guys, what is up? We are back with me doing whatever I want to. And yeah, today we are trying to do this stuff right here. Yeah. Oh yeah, I was trying to get this stupid HUD thing to work under my player. Because if you look at it right now, it is not in the camera. Instead, this thing is totally out of scope, which makes no sense to me. So we are gonna try to get this canvas to fit in the camera and follow the player or an object rather than doing this, because this makes no sense to me, and we're just gonna get this to work. Alright, let me just Google it. Unity game object. See how this guy does it. Probably has a better idea. Getting on. Yeah, I bet that's gonna happen. Oh my lord. Sweet.
I'm going to take the canvas and just kind of like scale it down from the center here, just so it fits the health bar that we have in here or whatever UI that you might have created inside your game. And I'm just going to go ahead and take all the UI elements inside my canvas, and I'm going to make sure that I center them by going inside the inspector and clicking the anchor presets up here, holding down Alt, clicking the center, and then you can see it's centered inside my canvas. Now I do also make sure to actually rearrange this again, so I do want to have it over here, just kind of sit right there so we can actually see what is going on. I'm just going to take my canvas again and make sure to resize it so it fits my UI in here. You don't really need to be that exact about this, but just to kind of show you something, I increase the height of it. If it is like this and you start changing the UI and making it fit onto the player, then the UI is going to get scaled as well. So we want to make sure that this is 1, 1, and 1, which is really how it should be when you make a game in here. You know, when you have with this player right here, but it's kind of big, so we want to make sure we scale it down as well. So inside scaling, I'm going to say 0.05. Actually, it's going to be 0.05. 0.005 it's going to be. I'm going to copy it, paste it in Y and in Z axis. Then I'm going to go ahead and zoom back into my player. And then you can see we actually have it in here sitting right on top of the player. So I can now take the canvas and just kind of move the position up so it fits somewhere just about where I want it to be inside my game here, which means that now, if we were to actually play the game, we don't really need to do anything else for this to actually follow the player. We can take damage, we can heal up again, and it's actually kind of working when it comes to a 2D game. However, if you're working on a 3D game, then you want to make sure you always make the UI face the camera as well. So if I were to go inside 3D mode, you can actually see that if I move around, it is going to start warping and it's not going to look right, and you want to make sure there's a script attached to this canvas to make sure that it always rotates towards the camera. So what I've done is I've essentially created this little script here that I've called look at object, which allow for us to create a
script. So I should be fine. Get out of here. All right. So at least now we know how this works. So right now we have this. So we want to scale this down massively. So 0.005. Right, and then we have this tiny little UI now. And we can, if we wanted to. We have this anchored already. We can size this down. It's already at the center. Can shrink this down here further. Let's actually move this up. Nope. Can I move you? I want to scale this. Like this. And actually, I don't think we should center it really. I think we should do it like this. That way, if we shrink this, it won't really matter. Anyway, so let's actually move this right next to the player. And change the scale so it's not that tiny. What the world? I don't know what happened. Seems like something broke here. The canvas is up here. It's cool. But that is massive. Let's change the scale one more time. What? So the camera's right here, but the player is right here. Must be doing something wrong here. Let's look that up. That dude again. Hold up. So okay, so the canvas should be 0, 0, 0. Okay, now it makes more sense. We want to move this on top of you. Then we want to scale this down a little bit more. That's probably a little bit too much. Oh, did I mean to? Don't think we should move the player. Everybody should be at scale 1. Yeah. There we go. So now if we click play, we should see it work. If it's not lagging, because looks like it's doing a long time, but whatever, I'll just skip. Okay. Oh, okay. Look at that. It's kind of working. So what is this? Oh, that looks really weird. Something must be wrong here. The canvas is right here. Right. So this should be, in theory, let's try to center this again. This must be in the wrong spot. Might be a good idea to center it. Oh. So this is even smaller than this. Should I scale this up? Maybe let's just keep this like that, and there we go. Now this box, I don't know why it has that box around. That should be hidden. But let's see what happens. Yeah, there we go. I mean, I'll just keep the border for now, but I don't really know how to remove that. Okay. let's take a look. Let's say Unity, remove border from canvas. Turn off gizmos. Probably somewhere in canvas. But there you go. If you turn that off, no longer have that weird border. Anyway, let's fix everything else though. Let's go back to my preference and change my editor. And we can launch it to somebody here. Okay. Oh, look at this. Looking good, bro. Okay, so we did some behavioral stuff with player. That's pretty cool. But now what we need is to fix this stuff too. So we want to be able to move left and right. And to do that, we're just gonna copy and paste this entire piece of code. Yeah, looking weird here, but it's all right. Want to say SW, go to the right, move right, and then move to the left and move left. And to do that, we probably want to get player movement speed that over here and just keep the Y. Right, and then we copy this and then replace it with this. And just do the negative version of it, pretty much. And then same thing here, we probably just want this. Want to keep that, and I'm gonna get the left and right 0, or maybe here actually. So that should do its thing. Let's give it a shot. Any play birdies? Okay. There we go. We can now move left, right, diagonal. It'll be all the same. Though we definitely need a normalized left and right movement, but I don't really care about diagonalization right now. Let's just talk about something else. So right now I want to try out animations. So let's look at my prefab boy here. I think there's like a window for animations. Here it is. Animations. So don't know really how this works exactly, but I do know that you need a component. Is it animation or animator? Let's just check out both to see. So that one requires a controller. Animation requires a clip. So that's probably not what we want. So that means that we need to create a animation somewhere. So let's go back here. We're over here. Let's make a new folder, animations. So we currently have our stuff really in the pack. Look at the NPC. Oh, okay, so we already have some animations actually. But these are clips. So they're not actual controllers. All right, never mind. I was back. Sorry, I had to take a little sneeze over there. Anyway, so we probably want to create animation. Probably also want this pack over here for me so that I can do stuff with this. Okay, so we need clips. I wish I can see these clips, but I do not see what's in them. I wish I can preview them. Okay, I guess for now we're just not going to worry about that. Rather, we are going to go back and go back here. We are going to create a controller for animation. Call this player animation controller. So yeah, this is what we have already, and we probably want to get some clips in here. So let's go to here and see what we get if I just drag this in here. Wish there's a preview somewhere. Because I do not know what is in here. Right? It does not show me really anything whatsoever. Let's try it to a character first. So if I go to prefabs, go to U, and then I go to animations and drag you in here, what is this going to actually look like? So if I now go back and click play, hey, okay, so the clip is playing for sure, but long idle animation. but there's no preview, so I can't tell what is even going on. It says Dragon model to see a preview. Okay, so now I can see somebody, right? Let's go back to 2D. So what we want to do is find the correct villager. Or we can't. Oh, so here it is, actually. So I guess what we want is M2 here. So let's go to animator. Right, we know it's not this dude, so we can delete this. We're just gonna drag in all of our M whatever. Okay, that might look crazy though, so it might be a terrible idea. Can I move over so I can see? Or is this the maximum frame? I'm allowed to see. Okay, whatever. So, idle animations. We have walking animations. Probably delete this one. This is in 3. We have side animation. But what does the side one look like? We have idle, 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 up, side. This is only one side though. Do I have to flip to find the other side? I guess that's what's called side. Be some sort of flipper in here so that I don't have to do that. Let's check out Unity Flip Idle. Unity Flip Animation Clip. Or oh, there's a flip function apparently. There's probably some way to do it, so we're not going to worry about that right now. So let's just say that on entry, we are in the idle state. And then in the idle state, you can honestly. Oh, let's just think, right? So we have idling, and in the down idle, you can technically walk. How do I connect these two? Okay, so we know that if you go down, then you can also go back to idle. But You can technically from any state go to any state, now that I think about it. So really, it should be any state to any state. How do I delete this? Right, because from the walking down state, so if you walk down, that's possible. Any state, you can walk down, walk up, walk left, and walk right. Right? That's what I'm thinking. You probably okay. So okay. So do they all have to go back to entry? Any state you can idle. I mean, I think that's how we're supposed to do this, to be honest. But yeah, I think that makes sense. But now we need a way to transition, right? Because we need to have a way to transition. How do we do that? I think the best way is just to Google it, honestly. Community animation controller. Check that out. Just a more logical way. There's a conditions tab apparently. Oh, I see now. Okay, I think I get it. So we probably want parameters first. We want a parameter probably for direction. There's no strings, which kind of sucks. We only have int float boolean or trigger. I wish we can use enum. That could be useful. But it means either boolean or integer. Let's do integer. We'll say direction. Here's what I'm thinking, right? So let's say we walk down. If we're walking down, then we also have the chance to go this way. After we're done. So if you're no longer moving, so we probably want a moving variable. Or really just anything. We could say x velocity or even y velocity. But then we have to track it in a way. So it is kind of weird. So if you're from any state, you can walk down. You can walk down, you can walk left, you can walk right. But from only one state, you can walk. You cannot idle. Unless you move up first. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of. But then that kind of sucks, so let's not talk about that. is x velocity. Should I make it capital or should I make it lowercase? Can this be a float? We don't really even care about velocity in general. That's kind of a waste of memory. So we really just want is moving, and that should give us what we want. And now that I think about it, direction sure will make coding easier, but it does cost more memory to store integers. So I think it's probably easier to have up or down Boolean. But then that doesn't make sense because it doesn't really make sense. So I think we're just better off using direction, actually. I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, so let's just keep it like this for now. So down idle. So where's the condition? There's supposed to be a conditions tab here. Oh, I covered it. So for this to work, you need to be is not moving false, and you also want the direction to be equal to, let's make 0 down. So now in order for this to work, there we go. And let's try this as well. Same conditions really. Is moving should be false and direction should be equal to 0. I think it might be better if I create more variables. And then, wait, am I allowed to type another variable in here? Or am I not allowed to? Guess I'm not. I guess it has to be literal, unfortunately. Or maybe, can I drag this in here? Guess not. Oh well, we'll keep it like this for now. But in order to move, you need to be moving, and you need to have a direction equal to 0. Now let's deal with the up one. So let's get up animation. We'll deal with side one later. So in order to idle, you need to be not moving, and direction should be 1. Or so right now direction down is 0, which I don't think it makes that much sense. So I think you should be doing 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, right? I think that should be the most logical way of doing this. So instead of doing this, right, so down should technically be 0, 1. So I'll take that too. Now let's make up 0. And when we do this, we also have the ability to condition. So now that I think about it, we technically don't need this because you will automatically go from this state to that state. Just from any state. So that should work. This should work now. Kind of. And we have, what is avatar? I don't know what avatar is. Must be an image. Nope, that's not what an avatar is. We'll ignore avatar for now. So now we need a script that will do that for us. Right. The input script just allows us to move. But I don't know if we should have an animation script too. Because in order to determine if you're moving or not, then you need to have... You know what? Let's do that. We could have an animation updater, movement animation updater, or just have an animation updater. But how would you trigger it? So let's go to drawing board. So let's just don't worry about any of this, and we just have an input system that does stuff for us. Right, so a player has an input system, he delegates it to you. So every time you move, you're actually just going to talk to... when you do an action, you're talking to the player. So let's say we want to move, we pass that move to a player, the player will then toss it to the input system. The input system will do that for you. Right. But now, how do we get animation? Do we have another animation system? But if we do that, that gets kind of complicated, and it really gets coupling. So how do we know when to animate things, right? We animate things because we know that there's a state, but how do we update that state? What we should have is giving the player an animation system, and the animation system will update within the player. But I don't know. Should I really do that? I could make it specific and call it player animation system. And I guess that would, but if I want to make it generic, it would be very codey. So let's see this, right? It does the movement here, but how would it know what to do? because sometimes it's not always dependent on input system. Rather, it's based on the player state. So we can do this. We also tell the player about the animation system. And the animation system will take care of that. But that requires I guess that works. But we would need to call it player animation system rather than monster control or whatever. So let's just do that for now. It might not be the best idea, but it's whatever. And while that happens, we should probably really rename. Okay, this is already called player input system, so. Okay. Let's go to player animation system. And what you will do is you will not care about this whatsoever. And you just want a player for update. Actually, that might not be a good idea to do it like this. Even though it's based on the states, we could want player input system to trigger the animation. It's possible. So maybe what should happen really is the input system will trigger the animation system rather than the player state. Because really, I mean, if you're getting knocked back, okay. Look, think about it, right? The player should really notify the animation system, not the input now. Because for any function that he runs, you need to call player system. But what if you both control animation system? Now that looks stupid. Because we already have this going for it. Maybe what you need is the ability to walk rather than like move up, move down. Should be probably in the player function. Okay, I think that's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna have public function. It's gonna call move up or down. So we are gonna have a void move up. And it's just going to be this. public void move down. That way, we actually are just not doing this. We just do this. That's what we're trying to go for. And we will take this. We'll take that from here. Void move left. I think this is the best idea. Here we go. That makes sense, doesn't it? And then we also have the idle function. Let's just say idle. Problem is we need to know whether you're going to be facing up or down. And really, we don't really know how that's going to work. Yeah, so right now we need a way to tell it to idle, what direction to idle, which I don't know if I want to do this. Idle up, down. left, right, because that seems super excessive. So I'm thinking of just not worrying about it. I don't really know, man. I don't really know. Because instead of doing this, we just do player dot move and then up or down or whatever. That's what I'm thinking of. But how would I do that for idling up and down? Right, because you would need to know what the previous speed was in order to find out whether your animation is gonna be correct or not. So we could have a function that gets the state of whether he's moving up or down. Actually, this might be a dumb idea to be in general. What if we instead just have, well, first of all, we need a state. So public void bull is moving. Let's default that to false and public. Should we make it public or should we just make it not public? Let's make it not public. Let's make it private and just have a function that returns whether that's happening or not. Public, private, bool, private int direction. What is this? Let's not worry about it for now. Let's just get that to work. And then we just have a function. But then we need a way to set moving. Oh, we can do that actually. Let's do this dot is moving. That should give us what we want. Let me see if it return value a reference or not. C# is return value reference. Oh, okay, always returns by value. Okay, I get it. So all I'm seeing is I don't need to pass in entire player. In fact, all we need is to return get rigid body and it'll actually work. In theory. So let me check that out to make sure that it's real. So void, not void. Public get rigid body. So if I'm correct, then we can entirely ignore this and just call player dot get rigid body. If I'm correct, right? So let me save that to make sure that I'm not tripping over here. Oh, okay. So it is doable. So that means we should make everything private. We should just call, every time we call RB, we should just call get rigid body. In fact, we can even do this. And this will not even give you a copy. Just type in RB. In theory, that should... It does work. Yo, okay. So that makes code a lot better looking, I would say. And we can do a lot more stuff now. And that also means we can get... Well, since it's a state, I think we can just do this. Okay, so I think we're running out of time here. So we're just gonna clear this for today. And we'll finish up trying to get this animation system integrated. Yeah, alright then. Have a good one, guys.